The wind clawed at my window all night long. Oh, backlog, auto backlog. Okay. It wandered the fields and howled long like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows at that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot of its days, and it was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The only house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, and swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves that there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. This is interesting. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Still what? Oh, I see the fox. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read that at the table? It's bad for your wait, what? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Oh. Hide! I didn't protest, and I put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Ola had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked at her typical girl from commercials. Huh. She got some really white hair. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if I would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. She keeps munching. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Castillo Odyssey. I love that show. Interesting show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the black forest is at night. A lot of questions for a kid. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. How can you tell they're green? What did I say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porch once again. I felt around for the spoon. And she left. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Oh, Karina. Nice. Ha, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been a bit of a bad mood lately. Imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Were the sounds coming from the attic? Ooh. Or the thick forest? You had a lot of questions for a 12-year-old. Oh, hello. I managed my grandma coming out into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, while Ola sleeps nowadays, and saying this is her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Oh, our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations. By chance, they were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with neat, colored material on the inside, and I saw what my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. Oh. I crawled out from under the table. Ola with Ulya. I think it's Ulya. Ulya was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. It is really frosted. There was a lot of dark papayas outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of the forest formed a picture on the glass. What are you looking at, boy? A wolf! Olya is... What? How do you pronounce that name? Olya. I think I'm gonna go with Olya. Look, it's a fox. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion things they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but yet, if you blur your vision just a little bit and look under a certain angle, not outside on the window. Look, it's here, the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up! Sorry, whoops, forgot about that. Yes, just a moment. Ooh, I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is, but it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh, it does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Where did Wolf go? What? No, I couldn't see the fox either. Well, here's a little bit of the side of the face. It just disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out nettled leaves, kept creeping up the glass. Ooh, there's father. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. It is a fine beard, I will say. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. Oof. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty crumbbacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in all this? Through the wall. Oof. That's sad. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in the fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with D. Divorce. Ooh, I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken to two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. And you and your owl can talk again. And you, my God. You said you believed me just yesterday. And has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still. Karina, please stop. Ooh, first name. Ooh, just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. But the owl. There was no owl. Oof. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Oh, she got it so fast. Olya sprung from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had a babai in your closet, and now this owl. But I saw it. Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Aww, that's sad. Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and pushed to the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Damn, okay, she's mad now. My mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, the look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and then the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn but out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. Ooh, that's a really used cassette tape. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. How do you fix it? Oh my God, yo. Are you sure you're a 12-year-old? How do you fix a relationship? Shoot, dang. Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. What are we gonna look outside the window? Oh, Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under the blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Whoa! Shoot! And then Olya says she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. I believe her now. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in our power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Ole refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? I feel like they are now. The night I couldn't get a wink of sleep and end up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There were a couple of days left before beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to the classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped into the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creature were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares filled with icy sneers made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp me on with their bloody shoes? Damn school can burn for all I care. Oh shit. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of new offensive names for me, and it's worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of a monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them up. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagined Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You got the wrong number." Or "Anton is not around. Anton is not around." I imagined my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. What? There's werewolves too? Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? You're just wearing glasses, bro. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. Cute. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9th-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent, easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. That's really nice writing there, wow. And then I realized it was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. What? It was mixing with the sound of the wind, of creaking old house, and my thoughts too. Oh, you stood up. Okay, that was just me. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. I think we're not going to have that answer. It's like someone playing it there, amidst the cold, snowy night, right? No. No, I don't want to open. Why can't we just go to bed like a normal kid and just pretend it's not there? Oh. What do we do? Oh! Someone was dancing in the fields. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, jumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. You look like a bear? Some kind of bird? A wolf-looking thing? And whatever that thing is there that's not moving too much. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Please don't sneeze. Whatever you do, don't sneeze. Don't do anything to grab their attention. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making anxious at the same time. Oh shoot! Suddenly the music had stopped. Oh great. The dancing shadows froze in place and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with a giant leaps. Oh shit. Oh shit. Hell no. Where'd you go? It glided on sweet snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. Ah. Oh! I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. Rats! A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and I listened to something unwanted guest move and scrape around looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. My guest now should be at the front door. I jumped into bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remember the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest and her faceless features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. Why are we thinking of this? I was chanting the spell as she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair from spawn from devil's lair to feast and always leave alone. God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Oh Christ, that's just you, Anton. Okay, great. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. No! It's at our door, isn't it? In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, and so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the midnight of dark. And then... Oh boy, no! The doorknob twitched slightly. Oh no. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. Oh god, this is creepy. My jaw cramped for each finger. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. Oh shit, they learned how to open the door. We're screwed. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness withered inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Tusha. What? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its cold wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, and snarled by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. To me. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale at a desperate scream. Before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tusha, you asleep? Who's Tusha? My sister, pale-faced, protruded from the thick shadows. Aw, it's just you! I almost screamed from relief. Olya, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Ulya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. Aw. Don't cry. It's there again, staring at me. I believe you now. Shoo her away, Tusha, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Ulya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared, dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Ulya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? Good question. That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became a tangled fuzzy. What was that? Was studying me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon. The darkness was clinging to the window and it couldn't be folded by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. What do you mean? Tusha, you coming? Yes, just a moment. That's not funny. Bloody mother freaking. Oh, there's animation? Here we go. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Ulia and her owl in the morning. Oh, this was a flashback. Hey, it's the 7th. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. Oh, that's sad. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from just a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide in the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tosha, come on. I felt the kettlebell were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. Police? Ooh, okay. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. Ooh. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name is Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. What's up, bruh? Whoa, that's a nice photograph. This is amazing artwork. I know I haven't said much of anything because I've been reading the dialogue, but I love the artwork. There was a junior boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as its backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. Oh, what a cute kitty. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't even know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. Here, out in the middle of nowhere. You really kidding me? That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. Love my eyes. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes stare long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the height of guilt which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the creaks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new home? By the way, getting used to it? Bit by bit, it's our little daughter missing the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is all right, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his brown eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaking voice to look like a polite boy to end his unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles, always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Want to help other people just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative, and not a police officer, stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, stay away from trouble. Times have changed so much. My mom interjected in a cold voice. Where are they? You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Anton? 6th. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, then I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. I won't. I'm just kidding. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. Oh shit. His face still stood before my eyes. I wonder what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? Pretty distraught, I bet. And what would my parents do if I had gone missing? Celebrate? I'm kidding. Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. Whoa, okay. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was spilling off old paint from the windowsill. I remember all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. What's this? Glossary. Oh, I didn't know that's a thing. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spin on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became a local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. You did? Then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation on my own? Oh, we'll find out why that's a bad idea real soon. Maybe I'll find that last lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Olia will be so happy. Aw. Not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. That's incredibly sad to think about. He's just a kid, and he can't even be left to be a kid. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasize about buying Ulia a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself, and a whole box of Kinder Surprise. And when was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time, and there's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Something like that. Neighbors used to envy us, but nowadays Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Ulia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Oof, no, we're not. Never mind, sorry. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse? Echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? No, it's okay. I got it. Better go pack your school bag or play with Ulia. My mother, that's worried. Understandable. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Oh, I could choose? Oh. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. Oh, I see the axe now. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babaya is living there. Babaya, I think that's what it's pronounced. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there's nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olia count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Okay, that was great. What's this? Oh. Mom's peg top, a family relic. Mom's played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Willie was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle, as if it could show her something, a fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg toy. It's a cool toy. My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of Zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in ice, leading chords. To kitchen to front yard. To kitchen to front yard. I'm pretty sure if I choose the kitchen, I won't be able to go back to the front yard. To the front yard we go! Anton, I'll whip you up if you make a single step out the door. Ooh, I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. Okay, so it's not to the door. Going to the kitchen! Turn back. Open. Cool. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Ulia there, but now I can only see meat, bits of soup, and a clumped together pellamini. I grew to hate them already. Damn, okay, good. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so Mia and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters, the name of the Palestine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of Flies. Oh. Second letter is E. Okay, well, we chose everything, right? Oh! Ircom of Russia had declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather force, a cyclone is...
из-за которого ожидается сильный снег, метель, снежные заносы на дорогах.
According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavier snowfall, blizzards, and snow drifts on the road.
Будьте осторожны и берегите себя.
Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Awesome. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. That's distorted? Ah, you're killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will you find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings. Please go see her for yourself. Strange, it worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snow caused it? Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Julia's room. Turn back! We'll make quick for the door. Andale! Ooh. I opened the front gate and went to the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed halfway of the distance towards the forest, the snow piles those are crows flying, nice. The snow piles became as high as my knees. I remember my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me. And a barely audible whisper in my head, blurring almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's tiny stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Ulya turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together. It was almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Ulya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day, it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. What did he do? Did he do something? It was as if a fire broke out, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes, who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. Ugh. Man, this is amazing artwork. Oh, we're blinking. Okay. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and conifers, needles froze into the ice. Oh, hey, there's a glove. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Oh, that's some profound thinking from a 12-year-old. Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. Wait, was it a kid's one? I tried to get closer, drowning in the snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungry, semi-dark. Should I take it into the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this man help them find the lost boy? Ova. Ooh. I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Ooh, Vova. As if the trees were calling out to someone. It sounded closer to me. Oh. Someone was standing there behind the trees. Hiding. Oh, where? Can we see someone hiding? Do you guys see someone hiding? I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still. Something was unsettling about that figure. Where? Do we see a figure? Do I see a figure? In stillness, I was bent unnaturally towards the ground. What are you looking at, kid? That I'm not looking at. Behind the tree, you say? But I see nothing behind the tree that will indicate otherwise. It's blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapping its wings loudly. Oh! A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. Oh my word. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to some place, it was gone. Yeah, same expression too, kid. So it was my imagination after all. Well, it was not your imagination, it's because something was there. Silence regained from a painfully long time. Hello? Why the slow pan? Oh, there's footsteps. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Aww. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I think we should start running right now. I looked at the mitten once more, gazing at its glory. Run away, take. Run away, take. Run away, take. Take! Are we gonna die? Don't die. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the brand. Dios mío. Okay. Chill. Chill. I had an epiphany. I will take my leave now. Okay. Got it. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Can we leave now? Okay. Chill. Ay, Dios mío. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. This is not good. It didn't budge. Now it did. Okay, let's go. I pulled harder, the branch cracked, and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. Oh, it's wet. All too heavy. Wet. I squeezed it without thinking, something dark spilled from it. Ew. Forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snowy pile. Steam rose from the steamy pile. Is that blood? No. Please tell me that's just like ink. It froze in place, stunning my palms in disgust. Red. Oh, that's red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. Oh, don't look up, don't look up, don't look up. I didn't have the time to think twice before running away. Run! Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine trees, closing this with great leaps. Snow was slowing me down, crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket before I'm gone forever. But there was one voice, probably one of the reasons that gave me the strength, spurred on me. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound came from back of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. Oh, the owl. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a whiz. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up brushberry bush, from its twisted plants, from the end of the run. Damn, we're running far, kid. Hurry. Don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in one place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this tricky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. What? Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone, my boot slipped out of the hole, and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path, one jump from one there, ran to my house. Oh, its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks. as if the dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I had noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was so much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in the front yard? Mom had locked the door. Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. Oh, thank God. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Is there blood still on her hands? Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I grated my teeth and I pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and it crashed at me in waves. I smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. Ugh. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone. The breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it, the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I popped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. My mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I'm afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when she was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined with steel. Ugh. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Or are you smoking in secret? Please. Bruh. Last thing you have to worry about is that. There was someone chasing me. I thought. I started as soon as I started to explain myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast searching for the smell of tobacco. Ugh. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand. What? What was there? Look over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. My mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. Oh, pack of dogs. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name or owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. That smells creepy. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me, like a bunny. And what if they are rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Ugh. Now she looked at the dogs as if it were her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olya? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb ridden corner just to keep myself from crying. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. What for? What use do I have for this? Mitten? Of course! A dark and stickly mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Is that blood still? Look, Mom, look, this is Volva's mitten. That boy the police were asking about in the morning? It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can't show where. Let's call the police right away like the officer had told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept on Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tried to remember their dream, but the images slipped away. Stop. Stop at this moment. Oli will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this, yeah, well, look at my hand. Oh, there's no blood on there. At the moment I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. What's happening? Come here, my boy, who cried Wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden colored pill reminiscent of dead wasp fell onto my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you. Dad would have given you a good whooping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drink it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't vulva smitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters and Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Sincerity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? You had the exact expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. The fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer, and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Julia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episode and switched to the other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. So are those pills affecting us in a weird way, mentally? Oh, nice room. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Lago's voices died down. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slid into my own. Ooh, nice. I dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about a Gent army. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. You seem to be. Hey, I know this one! One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. Aw, that's cute. The horse didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleeplessness to my eyes. Sometimes I would still catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. Ew. Monsters, ghosts, UFOs. The Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Roseman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa, Gorgon, and a Bigfoot from there. Willie always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part where they start to talk about ghosts really freaked her out. I remember hunting ghosts after I read that book. I measured the distance between its items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force coming in the morning. Aw, that's cute. They didn't. But to be honest, what I was expecting. To meet Casper the ghost? Nah. Okay. What's there? Why are you hiding there? Just gonna open this up real quick. I just noticed that. Were those feet there the entire time? One of the drawers was empty. I hid them in there. The simple action drained the last bit of my strength from me. Okay. I sat on the bed. Only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped the sheets. Whether it was due to the medication I took on the stress or I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in my whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It's the sister, it's gotta be. It reminded me of the burial sheets. Olia? Who else should be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lips. Yeah, Olia, it's so funny. The silhouette was not moving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there. not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. Badum, badum, beat my heart, controlled my medication. The wind sang in the fields with a curious chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Huh? Oh, it's just you. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I knew it was you from the beginning. No, you didn't. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Ulia's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not saying some flashlights. But I brought her to the window one day and the sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, moving child. Aw. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. Ooh. It's nothing, just... Wulan ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, "You stole something and hid it there. Are you a thief?" "What? Don't be stupid." "I didn't steal anything." A clear image came to mind. That mitten, hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Ulia could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. "Then show me!" "Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you." Ulia wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. And oh, she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Don't say things like that. Ulia nodded and made a gesture with her hand, blocking her mouth with an imaginary key. Mum's the word. She was filled with curiosity that was flashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Ulia leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. "Is this someone's mitten?" she said as if she could understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? He must be really cold out there. Yeah. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing photos to everybody. Ulia traversed the room with her care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. That's true. Very true. The police aren't scared of anything. They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of ice branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Ulia as far as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff like in the Wheel of Fortune. Sounds cool, right? Ulia wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense! An owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? It's cursed or something. Ooh, not the right words. Just like a fairy tale? No, more like that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Ugh. Ulia shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Thanks for the help. Someone was chasing you. No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was just tearing apart. She was so fragile, it was scary to stifle her light. She was so fragile, it was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go anywhere. I'll die from a boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom, and you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for my mom and dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Aww. That's just incredibly sad. Yeah, and if you make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. No, that's close. Willie giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mom's always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of your tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's go. Maybe a little bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? No, don't do that. Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play a hide and seek. Oh, no. No, Olya. Then draw me a dino. Olya, please. Draw it. Leave me alone already. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. No. Come back, please. No. I blurted out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. Never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hands on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo, you fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt, aw, this was sad. It felt bottomless. I promise I won't, but I will. And I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Okay, she's happy again. That's all that matters. Pops. Well, close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? I bet you will. The tapes is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Olya disappeared into the doorway and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Hey. Olya's countless toys. An old teddy bear in the main attraction here. Olya doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Oh, that's cute. That's so adorable. Oh, I know that cartoon. Oh, piggy bank. Olya's saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Aw. Toy Story. Group's cute. The scary window where Olya sees that cursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Okay. Turning on. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. On! The tube warmed up and the familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. Ah, my eyes. Almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. What image? It was dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a moment later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. So that's important here. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch the channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in the sleepiest tape, I didn't have the strength to do it all of it. Oh, what do I do? I only have one choice here. Do I disappoint my sister and set it, or do I make my sister happy and find the tape? Oh, nice. Oh, I can only choose one. Ula dula duff, pinker ala kof, kofa ala pinka bala, ula dula duff. Setting it. Oh, I feel like I made a terrible decision. The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony. It was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with a rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating a slow, mournful voice. It was pitch black night at the cemetery. Ah! In the fateful dark time, a little Sinya would met her fate at face of monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze, did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. Ugh. The camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of clothes that were thrown all over the place. No. I didn't want to think whether Sonya remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. Good idea, kid. I saw a hand. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Oh shit. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman weary from life and alcohol abuse, put on the screen. Yes, yes. Such a fearsome beastie it is, worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. To you. And the stink, it's like... The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. I never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with its eyes right in the middle of day. Day, you say? Was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. Ooh. You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you, but into its bag, you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the devil's wench, damn. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The Forest Master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. No! The creep grabbed the tape that was on the top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. It was Peter Pan. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called Forest Master for nothing. All the animals obey it, be they hairy or feathery. They're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it's most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching from the trees, you better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window, then soon. Then soon. Okay, well, soon what? Then soon. Then soon. Are we repeating here? Then soon, then soon, then soon. Repeat the same that man looked at last word and over and over for so many years. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and I was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR rejected the tape. For a moment I thought it was stained with saliva, but that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops. I recorded it over Peter Pan. I knew it. That was what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Leah's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. That's true. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaking floorboards. Oli appeared in the doorway. Haven't you started without me, have you? Nope. My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. No. I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do. Turn it on already. Mom will come watch her Brazilian drama soon. Come on, think fake detective. You know, I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe we should watch Little Mermaid instead. I've already seen it so many times. And you promised me. She's so stubborn. I know, let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first, deal? Olivia frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands over her chest. If you want it so much, can you open the milk can? I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped over before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa, I realized that the can was already open. Oli had tricked me and played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. She put the tape in. I wanted to rush towards the TV, but my little sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in victorious tone, "Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. As remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan." Frick! I couldn't even open my mouth, and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She played it, and then black crosses and unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scrapes, and the snow and the singing devil's wench. I better tell the truth. Olia, stop. I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off those plastic pins with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over my cartoons now. What? My listener pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting the out of this world voice of the narrator. But I saw the dual Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head heavy as a leaden ball now rested in my hands. Olia smiled in joy. I love this art. It's just amazing. She put the tape on, we went and started spreading milk over our bread. And then the cartoon started. She forgot about everything in the world. And if she really got transported to the Neverland, like she was always wished, the game is just too adorable. To be honest, I always managed myself there in a land where one never ages. When no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. Oh, that's a lot of reading. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast, and I waited among the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravens. Like a winged carnivore would track its prey. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tosha, shut the curtains fast. Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it gets dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. Okay, no props. I see eyes. What is that? Are those eyes? I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Close? Thank God. I did my best not to look outside, towards the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up. And Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly it does. You do believe me, right? That comes every night and I swiftly grabbed Olia's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But I did really have those qualities. Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come on and tell me if anything happens. Don't look out the window, but it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up. Just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. True. But then it eats you. Not true. Okay, she must have gone to bed. Good. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened. As if the forest didn't kidnap kids. As if our parents weren't tearing each other apart, bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a glided sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Julia's eyelids had dropped, and she started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song, and the world of Disney was lit up by a silver moon. No! Another moon peeked from under the first one, scary and wan, hanging over the Taiga forest. The horrific report got recorded over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Ulia. Frick! She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Ulia's room. Whether it was my providence or by curse, I hit the tape alongside with the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Oh, okay, just the mother. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed, you should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? I'm gonna be teased for having glasses. Adults think everything is so simple, as if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe just a part of me growing up, I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on me, on in the night. Oh, it got dark. Just realized that. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into a slumber. I succumbed after all. The day I feared the most, the first day of new school term. Oh, we're in school. Episode 2, time to play with you. Nice. Okay, gamers, I think we're gonna leave it here. I think we're gonna have this as an episodic series, obviously. And this is where the first episode ends. I'm loving it. I hope you gamers are loving it too. I know it's a bit different from the other games we've played, and it's more of dialogue and, well, just that's pretty much it. And clicking game as well. But it has a really great story, and I'm really enjoying this one. And with that being said, thank you gamers so much for watching, and I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me this past basically almost year that I've been on YouTube. And yeah, there'll be some titles popping up in front of you in a few moments. Pick your favorite video, and we'll go watch it together and all that kind of stuff. So thank you again, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye bye now.